Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Brooklyn if you are new here, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be going over 8 different tips that I wish that I knew before starting college or university. I'm going to be strictly using the tips that I personally came up with based on my experience. I have been in university for about 4 years now, although I've only been graduated out of high school for 2. This is because I did a program in high school which allowed me to get about 2 years ahead of everyone else. So I have gotten a lot closer to finishing my education compared to a lot of people my age. So because of that, I'm going to be going over some of the tips that I wish that I was told when I was entering university, because it's hard going into university when you have no idea what to expect. So here are 8 different tips that I wish that I knew before entering college or university. Make sure you grab some tea or grab some coffee, sit back and relax, and let's get into the video. So the first tip that I have, which is probably my #1 tip, is don't take a gap year. I think that this is one of the best tips because so many people take a gap year because they want to have a break from high school, which I totally understand. I wanted that too. But I feel that once you take a gap year, it's so hard to motivate yourself again to get back into going to school and to remembering all your study tools and everything that you did. And I feel like just after you do that, it just becomes so hard to get back into the grind of going to school. I personally didn't take a gap year. I did my 2-year program in high school and then continued with my 2 years outside of high school, and I'm still going now. And I've wanted to stop doing a semester because I was tired and I wanted to have a break, which is totally understandable, and it is okay to have a break when you need it. But the thing is, with university, most semesters end in April, so it's only September to April unless you take a summer extended semester. So it's really not even that bad, and taking a gap year may be worth it if you did want to travel, but if it's in a time like this, there's really no point, and I would just do school. As much as it sucks being online right now, it'll be so worth it once you're done and you're still very young. Alright, so my second tip, which I think is super important, is if you don't know what you want to do, just start taking classes anyways. The reason that I say this is because even though if you don't know what program you want to do or what career you want to end up with, it is so easy to start to take either general studies or even just prerequisites that most programs take. It will save you at least a year, and by doing that you may find what you like to do. For example, most programs need English, you may need communications and just general things like that, and it is super easy just to take these basic 100 level courses that can get you a year ahead and make it so much easier for you to get into programs that you want once you discover what you like doing. And this is a great way to find out what you do like in university and what you don't like, and it's just a great learning experience all around. My third tip is you don't have to go to an expensive, well-known university to get a good career in the future, to get a good job, and to get a good education. When I graduated high school, all my friends were kind of going away to what are known as bigger universities that are either close by or even across the country. Some of my friends even went to different countries in the world, which is totally okay. It's also super good to get that experience by traveling by yourself and getting that education and meeting new people. It is a great experience. But personally for me, I found that even if I stayed at a local university in my town, which I did, you can still get the same degree that you could get at a different university. And yes, some universities that are more well known may have better learning opportunities and stuff like that, but if you want to stay out of debt and student loans and paying off those student loans in the future, it is so much easier to just stay at a local university where you know that you can get the same degree that you want, and you can still get the same job in the future as long as it says you have a degree. Most employers do not really care what school you go to. They may be interested if you say, or on your resume it says that you did go to a fancier or more well-known university if you did get into that. but they will still hire people even if you have a basic degree from a basic school that is not well known. And I wish that I personally knew that, because so many times during my studies I wanted to switch to different schools to get different experiences, like move away from home to meet new people, but when I was looking at like the finances, it is just so much more expensive. And like, I'm a student and I try to work part-time as much as I can, and like in the long run it'll be so hard to pay that off once you're still a student, depending on how many years you're still in school. However, if you can afford it or your parents do help you out, I would think that it would be a good experience going to a different university that maybe your friends are going to or you've always wanted to get into. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but I'm saying that if you can't afford that, it is totally okay to go to a basic university where you live, because you can still get just as good of education there. One other thing is, I can also understand if you wanted to do a specific program at another university, because obviously lots of universities have different programs that others do not. That I can definitely understand, but for me, I was just taking a basic degree level program, which I can get at almost any university, and it's just way easier to take it at a place close to home where I don't have to move out, don't have to drive very far, don't have to pay for my own food, and all of that. It saves a lot of money in the long run, and it'll make you a lot more successful as you finish your education. My fourth tip would be know your limit for how many classes you are taking. For example, the average person takes anywhere from 3 to 5 different classes, and this completely depends on like who you are as a person. For example, I have always taken only 3 classes per semester. I feel like that it is like the perfect amount. I've never done more and don't think I ever will do more unless I really need to. Because for me, I like to do my schooling to make sure that I'm getting close to completing where I want to be by the end of the year. I do want to have my personal life. I want to hang out with friends, family, and just do things that I like that don't involve school. And I also want to be able to work part-time to be able to pay for my schooling to ensure that I don't get in debt. I feel like a lot of my friends have taken 5 classes and they're always like messaging me saying that they're struggling so much and that they can never do anything because they're always doing school. And what I've noticed is, especially right now, online school is a lot more work than in-person classes, because I've actually experienced both. I've done in classes for 2.5 years, and then this 1.5 year I've been online. But when it's online, what I've noticed is you have to show that you are participating a lot more. So teachers make a lot more different activities and discussion groups, and it's a lot more work. So I definitely suggest 3 classes, especially when you're just starting out. Even 2 is okay, especially if you're first year, because it can be hard to adjust and learn how to write all the university assignments, and it can be stressful. So for me, I suggest that you take 3 classes or even 2, but if you do feel like you only really need school, like if you moved away, for example, then maybe 4 or 5 classes is good. But I think that it can be a lot, especially depending on what program you're in. It can get really hard, really stressful, and a lot of work. My 5th tip is more of like a studying tool. This would be start handwriting your notes instead of typing them or just reading over your notes to study. I know that everyone has different study tips, but what I've learned is I have to rewrite everything out when I am trying to study, because I don't remember things as well as if I'm writing it out, or if I'm reading it out, I just don't remember it. I need to write it out because it helps you learn on the way. So that's one of my main study tips. And also use a lot of highlighting. It can be fun too. I suggest getting like just a normal highlighter pack and just using different colors, color coding things to make sure that you can understand. And your brain, it helps when you use colors because your brain can color code things naturally. My 6th tip is mainly for online school, but it can apply to in-person classes as well, but it would be to use a planner. The reason I say this is because, especially with online classes, there is so many different things that you need to keep track of. For example, there's a lot of different scheduled Zoom meetings, there's different class assignments and papers, exams, and all of that. And there's a lot to remember, and for me, I've noticed that sometimes I can forget when everything is due. So I start stressing out in the moment rather than trying to find when these things are due. And when you're stressed out, your brain can't work properly to figure out where you can find where this is due. So using a planner and writing out due dates is super helpful, especially if you are like a full-time student and you have a lot to keep track of. Your classes offer a lot of assignments and tests. It can be hard to keep track of, and this way you can write when you need to study, when you have free time, and it helps you just plan out your life better and helps you coordinate your different things that you want to maintain. My 7th tip would be to try and work as much as you can on breaks or just in general. Like I was talking about earlier, school can be extremely expensive, especially depending on what school you go to and where it is located. But working as much as possible is really important because it helps you stop that debt in the future from happening. It allows you to save money while you're going to school. It's good to work because we all need money. And I suggest working as much as you can on breaks because they're usually only 2 weeks, if that. Like for example, we have what is called reading break, which is only a week. So even if you just worked full time for 1 week, it can make a difference. And what I do is when I have like the semester change, so like it'll end in December, and then we usually don't start till like the 1st or 2nd week of January. There's a lot of weeks in there to try and work, and it really helps you just save money and grow your bank account, which is super important while you're going to school because it's easier to save now than in the future. All right, my last and final tip is to take time for yourself. One of the main things that I have learned in school and that professors truly emphasize for what I'm studying is to do self-care and to take time for yourself. It sounds really cheesy and really corny, but it is really important, and people don't understand that self-care can be as easy as listening to music, going on your phone for a little bit, taking a walk, taking a bath, having a drink of water, just including little things throughout the day, throughout your week, throughout the month that make you feel better and make you able to do all the things that you need to do. For example, I'm studying social work and we deal with a lot of different things that can be hard to hear and see, and so it's really important for me as a social work student to take time for myself to ensure that my mental health is okay before I can assist someone else. For example, if I'm trying to counsel like a young kid and they're going through so much and they're asking me to help them and like talk it through it with them, I need to ensure that my head is clear and that my mental state is okay, because if I'm trying to help someone else and I'm not okay, all I'll be thinking about is what's going on in my head, and I won't be able to even focus on what they're feeling. And that is super important. If you're stressed out about something, you won't be able to focus on anything but that. But that is going to be everything for this video. I hope that you enjoyed my 8 different tips that I wish that I knew before I started university or college, because not a lot of people talk about what they learned, and I hope that this video can help just at least one person, whether you're starting a new semester and want to take some additional tips, want to see what I have done to make sure I am successful in the future, and just in general for any university type. But I really hope that you enjoy this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and just give me more ideas that you want me to film. And if you like this kind of college university series, let me know and I will definitely do more, as I feel like I have a lot of knowledge on university because I've been there for 4 years. So if you do want any more tips or advice videos, just comment it down below or send me a message. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.